This is the Basilica of St. Mary of the Immaculate Conception. This beautiful Roman Catholic church here in downtown Norfolk, Virginia, and the music you hear set the stage for today's Studio 5. Hello everyone, I'm Ephraim Graham. We're taking a look at the film Risen, which follows a Roman military officer's week-long journey to find Jesus' body after the resurrection. But before we get to that, here's a quick look at other headlines from the world of uplifting entertainment in the Studio 5 Top 5. Number 5. Rapper Kanye West is recording a gospel album. In a radio interview, he described his new project, which by the way is titled Waves, as a quote, dream that can't happen without God. He's also teaming up with gospel artist Kirk Franklin. The album is being released February 11th. Number 4, Roma Downey and Lightworkers Media have acquired the rights to the Baxter Family book series. The plan is to turn it into a long-standing television show. New York Times best-selling author Karen Kingsbury says her readers have been begging to see the Baxter family on TV, and now their dreams are coming true. Number 3, Tyler Perry is announcing the cast for his play The Passion Live. Singer-songwriter Giancarlo Canella is slated to portray Jesus. The role of Mary, his mother, will be played by country singer Trisha Yearwood. And Chris Daughtry, the singer who rose to fame on Season 5 of American Idol, will play Judas. The musical airs on Fox Palm Sunday. At number 2, one of the largest inspirational events for women has been made into a film. It is called Women of Faith, An Amazing Joyful Journey. The part documentary, part live stage event features interviews with some of the most beloved speakers from the Women of Faith event. It's showing at select theaters across the nation. At number 1, you know her voice from Downton Abbey.
Come and look. These colored pages are with one and the same intent.
And now Michelle Dockery is using her pipes to tell the true untold story of English artist, writer, and missionary Lilias Trotter in the film Many Beautiful Things. The film is being screened across the country. And those are your top 5 from Studio 5, which today is the Basilica of St. Mary of the Immaculate Conception. Take a look at this photo. It's actor Joseph Fiennes meeting Pope Francis in Vatican City just days before the February 19th release of his film Risen. I can brag, I actually saw the film before the Pope. I also sat down with Fiennes for this Studio 5 interview.
Was this the face that launched 1,000 ships?
The romantic comedy Shakespeare in Love sparked Oscar buzz and high praise for Joseph Fiennes. The British actor now takes on the role of a Roman military tribune in what you could call the greatest murder mystery ever.
Spare me the riddles and zealot babble. Where did you take Yeshua?
The resurrection of Jesus.
The big attraction was the character and what he goes through. In under a week, he's gone through this massive sort of reformation. That was the big attraction. I never really saw it as a biblical story. I saw it as a wonderful journey of a man who has to question his conditioning. I think the balance of the film, and for me the success of the film, and the attraction of it was that we could get everybody in the room. It wouldn't have to be just faith-based.
This is an action adventure, and preparing to play Clavius was a demanding physical journey for Fiennes.
I went to gladiator school in Rome. And,
how long did you stay in gladiator?
I stayed long enough to never want to go back. No, I spent the good part of a week working with a brilliant set of guys, and what I learned from a military standpoint, really for me, was the way into the way the man was conditioned and the way that he thought. And that was really the beginning of the prep.
So you put your body through the ringer, too?
I did, and I'm still suffering from it.
Oh no, what's still hurting?
Well, sort of odd, muscles pulled and things like that.
You've come ashore, your boat's out there.
Director Kevin Reynolds shot the film in Spain and Malta, where Fiennes had little to no contact with the actors who played the disciples or Christ. until the scenes call for them to be together. It seemed to me that for a period, Clavius is on a search because Pilate sends him on a search. But at some point, something shifts, and I feel like it's less about an assignment and more about him needing answers for himself. Would you say that's true?
So that's a very, very good, pertinent question. The relationship with Clavius and Pilate is a father-son. And it's all about the father and the son, or the son rather, at a certain point deciding to divorce himself from that relationship. And then he embraces another father, if you like. So there's a wonderful point in the film where I think, given the circumstances and what he's witnessing, and because it starts off as a brilliant detective story, and like I said, the mind of Clavius is such that he's going to work it out. He's like Sherlock Holmes, and we're going to work it out, and it's a hoax, and we're going to get to it. And he's very dedicated in solving this mystery. And then, as the events unfold, he begins to have to question his conditioning, and that conditioning, and Pilate is a big part of that conditioning. He's the father of that conditioning to him. And so you get this wonderful moment where he's having to divorce himself from that relationship. And that was a brilliant aspect to the movie.
Did this role have an impact on your personal faith and relationship to the Jesus story?
I think, well, certainly when I picked up the script, and in filming and in seeing the film, what it does is it just reinforces for me what a potent, powerful, pertinent and important story this is. For me personally, and as a child being introduced to through Sunday school, the story of Christ, had an irrevocable impact on me. Now, I'm lapsed in every sense, but nevertheless, I think deep down I carry a sense of what that means for me. And certainly the film, going on the journey with Clavius, it kind of reminds me of getting back in contact with that content and just how special and important it is.
Sometimes we have to escape temptation or escape the storms of life by simply flying over them.
From flying to limping, see why recording artist Jonathan McReynolds is in my ear when Studio 5 returns.
So please come and please heal how I think and how I feel, and I'll live.
Welcome back to Studio 5. As you can see, I love music, and the song that's playing in my ear while working on this show is from singer Jonathan McReynolds. It is called Limp, and when I hear it, I think of Christ being beaten but still carrying the cross, even limping at times, to fulfill the mission of connecting creation back to the Creator. The song is from Jonathan's latest CD. The new project is called Life Music, Stage 2.
I'm tired, broken, innocence stolen.
How does the process for creating this differ from the first time around?
Well, first of all, the first go-around, I know we talked about it, I didn't expect it to actually become an album. I was just doing music, and we kind of just put it all together. This is 4 years of writing. This is an entire college degree program of writing, and we put it on an album. This one, we definitely knew that we were working towards an album. We were working towards making something out of the investment that the label has done. So there's a lot of different expectations and pressure on it. I tried my best to try to keep it as innocent and keep the process as pure and you know, unaffected as possible. So I still try to, you know, write songs on my way to sleep or in the shower, you know, on the toilet, and you know, I tried to keep it in that place, knowing, you know, knowing more this time the end, what this will all come to. So it was a little different, but I tried to keep it the same as best I could.
13 tracks on this. You got a favorite?
They're all my favorite. You have a favorite kid?
No, I don't have a favorite kid.
I think it's kind of like kids. You have the older one, you have the newest one, and so for some reason the older one and the newest one have their different, unique reasons why you like them. But Limp is one of my favorites. kind of a clever extended metaphor about, you know, just the human frailty, the human condition, and you know, how Jesus answers it and asks us to keep on pursuing him regardless of it.
You're the lifter of my head. So please come and please heal how I think and how I feel.
Maintain is certainly a good song that defines where I am in my life right now. You know, I don't want to be a flash in the pan, a kind of quick light, oh, there he goes, and there he's gone. You know, I'd rather be, you know, somebody that sticks around. And so Lord, help me maintain the joy, help me maintain peace, identity, favor, creativity, success, pressure. As I said, this entire album had a different level of pressure. Growing up has a different level of pressure. So all of them, I love them all.
See, I realize that sometimes I'm just not that smart, but I desperately just wanna be where you are. And compared to a while ago, I've gotten far. So help me maintain, help me maintain.
Jonathan is already more than just a flash in the pan. His life and music are touching and inspiring millions of people all around the world. What Jonathan does with his guitar is what Jesse Owens did on the track at about the same age. The Olympian once said, "Find the good, it's all around you. You'll find it, showcase it, and you'll start believing it." Well, he is now part of that good in the fabric of American history, and his life is being showcased on film.
Playback.
Race is a trip back to the 1930s when Jesse Owens stunned the world with his record speed at the Summer Olympics in Hitler's Germany.
The winning of 4 gold medals at the 1936 Olympics. But before that, there was a wonderful day in Ann Arbor in 1935 when he tied 3 world records and broke a 4th. It was a phenomenal day in track and field history. Those records stood for many, many, many years.
Owens' 3 daughters work to share their dad's life with younger generations. They've now helped to bring his story to the big screen.
I will say, you can run.
Canadian-born actor Stephan James plays Jesse Owens, the man still known as the Buckeye Bullet, from his earlier days as a track star at The Ohio State University, where administrators unveiled a statue just outside Jesse Owens Memorial Stadium in 2011.
He's a guy he's larger than life, you know. He's a guy that so many people look up to and so many people hold in such a high regard. So there's a little bit of pressure there when you're trying to make sure that you do him justice, you do his family justice. And then all the people who care so much about him and his legacy, to make sure that I'm doing that justice too. So there's a lot that goes into it.
If his face looks familiar, Stephan played legendary civil rights leader John Lewis.
He's Bull Connor.
In the film Selma, playing Jesse Owens called for training to run 100-meter dashes for 3 months of shooting.
Track's a different beast. It's a different beast. I grew up on basketball, volleyball, football, so I wasn't unfamiliar with, running and stuff like that. But being a track athlete is one thing, but, being a track athlete in 1936 is a whole nother thing. They didn't have the benefit of, the type of shoes we have and the type of training that we have today. And they were, running on dirt back then, and now they're running on turf. So there was a lot of just time period differences that I had to work with. But then I had to make sure I was being accurate to Jesse as well. So yeah, definitely a lot of layers.
This is the true spirit of sportsmanship we're seeing here between these 2 athletes today. The white flag is up. 8.06 meters. It's a new Olympic record.
A hero in history with life lessons for today.
I think that people can feel inspired by Jesse's winnings in 1936. and just the way he lived his life in general. You know, you look at this story and you look at what Jesse was able to accomplish at a time where, you know, it was sort of inconceivable for him to do what he did. And you know, I don't really think he had any real intention or purpose for why he went over to Berlin, but to go over there and to do what he did and to have the effect on the sport and the world, you know, in which he did is something that's incredible. And it's obviously why we're sitting here today. So I just hope people can feel inspired by it.
I think they can learn patience, determination, and humanity.
Still ahead, in Studio 5, sitting down with the star of Risen.
I don't know what it is. We were stimulated at a young age, didn't really have television, had a big library.
For a look at the more personal side of Joseph Fiennes. And welcome back to the Basilica of St. Mary of the Immaculate Conception, the perfect place to share a behind-the-scenes look at the film Risen. It's a new take on the resurrection story. Here's part 2 of this Studio 5 interview, a more personal conversation with the star, Joseph Fiennes. Before I let you go, I have to note, you and your family all seem very well connected to entertainment. Joseph is the son of photographer Mark Fiennes and novelist Jennifer Lash. He is the youngest of 6 children. His older brother is actor Ralph Fiennes. His sisters Sophie Fiennes and Martha Fiennes are both filmmakers. What do you think it is about the Fiennes family that's so connected that makes this happen?
Crazy genetic pool that I have no idea about why it came to pass like this. Well, we have archaeologists, and we have, I guess, in America we call it a ranger. My twin is what we call in Britain a gamekeeper, and that would probably equate to a ranger. So there's a few of us that are outside of the creative pool, but I don't know what it is. We were stimulated at a young age, didn't really have television, had a big library, you know, and literature and art was something which was very much integral to the family upbringing.
So do you guys consult each other and critique each other and get
guidance?
guidance?
I wouldn't dare, and they shouldn't dare. No. No, I think we're all, you know, it's the next generation, you know, we're all, everyone's got kids, and the focus is really on family.
So what is next? What can we look forward to?
I had a wonderful experience in China recently, working on a film about an incredible spiritual being called Eric Liddell, who was famous for refusing to run on a Sunday in the Olympics because of his Sabbatarian beliefs. It cost him possibly the gold in the 100 meters, but then on the following Monday he ran the 400 and he won a gold. So he got his gold and he stuck to his beliefs. What people don't know is the second part of his life, he was a missionary. His father and mother were missionaries in China. He was born in China. He went back straight after the Olympics. In the height of his fame, he went to dedicate himself to being a missionary in China.
Wow.
And he sadly, he got caught up in the invasion, the Japanese invasion, and died in a concentration camp. But he held to his beliefs, and there's an amazing story of the contact he had with people in the camp and how he helped others and survived. So I just finished that, and that was a great journey, and a remarkable, I dare I say, a saint of a man. And then more recently, I got invited to play Michael Jackson.
I was going to ask about this, so that
yes,
is true.
That is true. It's a story about Brando, Taylor, and Jackson, and a road trip, and it's a nice light comedy. And I'm about to do a play back in Britain about T. Lawrence of Arabia.
Still to come in Studio 5, finding purpose after a career is cut short. We're with a football star for a sneak peek at the next Studio 5.
Then sings my soul, my Savior, guide to thee.
We are already hard at work getting ready for the next edition of Studio 5 with Trinity Dawson. He played college football and had dreams of being in the NFL. Everyone thought he'd make it, but the draft never happened.
And I was wondering, why am I here? And why are you requiring this of me? But it wasn't until I stopped asking why and started just focusing on who he was.
The joyful music story behind these tears is one you won't want to miss when Studio 5 sets up in Texas with the Dawson family. We all have God-given gifts. For some, it is football. For others, it's practicing medicine or making movies. How do we take those gifts, hone them, and become the best? I'm giving today's final word to Dr. Ted Baer, a man who knows a thing or two about success.
The point is that if you want to be successful, 1, you have to let go and let God. 2, you have to get out of the boat. But 3, you have to, keep your eyes on Jesus and run the race, learn to seek wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Paul says we're boxing the air. You learn. If you're going to be a great musician, you practice. If you're going to be a great, Arthur Miller was a writer in New York during the 60s. And he was trying to write the great American novel, and he was sitting in his little East Village apartment, and there was a guy playing the scales, upstairs, all the scales. And he goes up and knocks on his door, dot, dot, dot. And he says, "Why do you keep playing the scales?" And he says, "I have to play a concert tonight." And he says, "I'm going to report you to management. What's your name?" Rachmaninoff. Well, you don't know Rachmaninoff. He was one of the great musicians of all time. He's going to play at Carnegie Hall. Before he played at Carnegie Hall, he's practicing. That's what you do. You don't go out on the football field without practicing, without training, without stretching. So learn your craft. Learn whether you're a doctor or anything. Why do they call it medical practice? You've got to practice, you've got to learn, you've got to study yourself approved, and let go and let God.
And that is the final word for this edition of Studio 5. Thanks so much for your company. Until next time, reach out and touch me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I'd love to keep the conversation going.